Welcome back. We're previewing this big main event that comes up on Friday night with Nikita Tszyu taking on Michael Zerafa. Shawn Porter and Paulie Malignaggi are still with us from the US, but we've got a special guest, one of the heroes from here in Australia, Anthony the Man Mundine. Always good to see you, Chock. How are you?
I'm good, man. All good, bro. Just living life, man. Enjoying retirement. It's been a while now, so yeah, it's all good.
Your son was meant to be fighting on this card. Unfortunately, he's not. It's still a stacked undercard, though, but you've got plenty of interest, of course, in Nikita Tszyu and Michael Zerafa. I have to start by asking you, are you disappointed that Zerafa hasn't picked up and run with the bad guy? Because he said he was going to be the next Anthony Mundine. You did it forever. Now he's the nice guy.
Well, I did it pretty much to the end, man. So if you stick to something and say something, you're going to do something and do it. You know what I mean? Don't chop and change,
man. It's principled.
Yeah.
It's about the principle, man. Like, but you know, he's a good dude. Like, he's a pretty cool dude. Obviously, he's got goals and aspirations to be champ, and he's at his turning point. It's either he's going to go on and maybe make a money fight with Tim, or you know, it could be the end. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
What do you think's going to happen in the fight, though? You would have waited up, and obviously you fought Michael at a point, but you were at the end of your career.
I was malnourished at the end of my career, but I'm 50-50. No, I think it's going to be, man, you know what? I think, like the boy guys been talking about in the first segment, I think that Nikita's, I wouldn't say dumbness, but just like lack of experience at this level, he sort of just comes and wants to overwhelm Michael. That's not, you know, he's going to... Michael needs to be more strategic and more, you know, pot shot and be smart, not be hit, not get into that game. So we'll see, man. I don't know.
I said stupid, and I said I know those aren't the best words.
Yeah, exactly.
I said dumb. I know.
I don't think Nikita would care, to be fair. So it's all right.
Naive.
Well, there you go.
But the word I like even more is immature.
Yeah.
Right?
Immature,
he's immature as a boxer. He's immature in the ring.
Raw.
And he's raw. It leads to him being very raw and taking chances that a lot of people wouldn't take. But I'm telling you, man, I've seen him fight before, and I was like, the very first time I saw him fight, I saw him get put down on the canvas. I was like, that wasn't supposed to happen. Yeah. And then, like you said, Paulie gets up and he continues to mash this kid for round after round. And I was like, this guy is amazing. You know what I mean? Yeah. I have fun every time I'm ringside.
Yeah. It's another word to use for Nikita. He's very ferocious.
Yeah.
He's got a lot of ferocity.
Yeah, he just wants to get guys out of there. He wants to hurt guys, and he enjoys it when there's blood all around.
He said it's a sexual pleasure, man. So.
He never said that, did he?
He said that, bro. He said a lot of things.
He said that, man.
Yeah. What do you make of him? Because he's different, isn't he?
He's different, but I like him, man.
Yeah.
Like, we live pretty local back in Sydney, and I run into him at Cars Park because I do my jogs. I still run on that, so I bumped him and goes, man, it's good that he's still training and stuff. Yes, try to stay active, man. He goes, you know, just appreciate it for what I've done with the sport here, and he goes, you know, you set the platform for us, and I said, so I just gave him words of encouragement and you do your thing now, bro. It's your time, you know.
Yeah, it must be amazing for you, given everything you did for Australian boxing, but knowing that Kostya's kids are now where they are, and Nikita's about to headline this huge show on Friday night.
Well, Costa lived around the corner. Yeah. You know what I mean? We was in the pretty much same suburb in Cars Park, so I used to see Costa running and things. So yeah, I've got a great respect, and his wife Natalia, I've got a great respect for them, man. They're good people.
Yeah, and this Friday night when you're watching these fights, what version of Michael Zerafa are you expecting to see? Because Paulie thinks maybe there's a chance that he's, I don't know if you're saying he's got old overnight, but maybe it's not quite there as much as it needs to be. I know you fought on longer than probably even you would agree you should have, but is there any chance that that's just gone a little bit for Michael?
Well, that's what we're going to find out. That's what the question is going to be asked, and going to have the answer Friday night. So it's exciting, man. I'm looking forward to this fight.
This is a major domestic rivalry, Chock. You were involved in arguably the biggest...
The biggest per capita in the world, brother. We're talking about arguably. No doubt, brother. No doubt.
That's the biggest we've ever had.
That's the bar.
The biggest you're ever going to have.
The second biggest. Just start there.
The biggest you're ever going to have.
What is it like to be a part of a rivalry like that? To have someone that half of the population likes and to be someone that the other half likes?
There's levels. We all know in boxing there's levels, you know what I mean? And in society and things like that, there's levels. My thing with Danny Green, it become a race war. You know, I'm Indigenous Australian, Aboriginal, and that come into play. That's where that made it so big, and I thank Jeff Fennick because he was the one that ignited it back when I first started, and with his jealousy and coming against me, and you know, ambushing my press conferences and things, and with all these fighters, I bashed most of them.
Nice.
Yeah, and then well, they asked for it, so I gave it to them.
I hate to say it, but that's what sells. Anytime you ignite it from that perspective, it's taboo and everything, but it sells all the time.
Well, that's what I mean.
Paper sellers.
So
you ignite it that way. It's fighting's very partisan. Fighting's a very partisan thing. People love to stick to their own culture. They're very partisan.
Well, no one ever got it as well as Chalk. He just got it. He got everyone talking.
That's why his fight is the bar. Everything is measured by, right? I mean, that's what we're talking about. But
nothing's come close. Nothing.
How did you keep your composure in that first fight? Because everyone was watching, everyone was talking. There was so much emotion there. How did you fight as smart as you did?
If you remember, I went over to Pensacola, Florida, trained with Roy Jones Senior. That's Roy Jones Jr.'s dad, and he implemented a lot of his training techniques and footwork to me. Actually, I trained with him before I fought Mikkel Kessler for the world title when he was undefeated. And a lot of people thought I won that fight. I lost a close decision. And then Danny Green was the year after, and then that training and implementation, like repetitiously, just came out. And I knew I had better skills than Danny. Danny was a powerful dude. I knew I just couldn't get caught. And but you know, it's hit and not be hit, and that's what I did, man. I didn't get hit, and I hit him a lot of times.
It has to be difficult in a rivalry when it means so much to you to box at your very best. How do these fighters on Friday night overcome all of that noise?
Yeah, I love the noise, but I do remember specific moments in fights where the noise wasn't for me. It's uncomfortable. And, you know, when you're Tim Tszyu, that's something, when you're Nikita Tszyu, that's something that he doesn't know right now. He doesn't know how to get that crowd on their feet and get them going for him. He understands them doing it, but he doesn't understand how he can corner Michael Zerafa and have that moment right there simply just for them to start making noise.
Well, that's the immaturity.
And how that plays into Michael Zerafa's mind. So
I also think that plays into his advantage. Like the bliss is an advantage in some ways.
Yes,
even if you ask him today at the press conference about, you know, does you know, you're going to win it for your family. You go back to your locker room. He's like, what does that even mean? He doesn't care. I'm telling you, that's an advantage for him. Because we have a saying in Sicilian, and I'll translate it. It's the water doesn't wet him and the air doesn't dry him. He doesn't care. Like, basically, nothing affects him.
Nothing bothers him.
He has almost a psychotic mindset where he's almost too calm, but there's a psycho behind it. And the way he fights,
there he is.
I mean, it's not just an idea. He's a psycho. When he fights, this is a psycho when he gets in there and fights. Again, you watch some of his fights. He's get up off the canvas like ferociously. But then you ask him questions and you're like, wow.
You know, the other side, though, I hope that he hasn't watched what the tabloids are saying. He hasn't watched what's being said on social media, because if you're watching that, the only thing you're reading is that you don't have the experience. And
go.
You know
what the kind of person he is? He's so off in some ways, but then in a lot of ways that makes him on. This is the kind of guy, okay? I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to say it right here, and maybe it comes true one day. Because he's been away from the sport, he comes back to the sport. He randomly, I heard he randomly got married. Then he does. He's a very random, in the moment, free spirited kind of person. It goes back. This is the kind of guy. Okay, he may build up his career and have a $20 million fight on the table and be like, nah, I'm retired.
Yeah, walk away.
He's that kind of guy. You know. But I'm telling you, in that way, it's almost like he doesn't feel the pressure. You know, Zerafa, I think he's more normal-minded in that way. He's been there. He's an experienced guy, and the experience makes him smarter. But when you're smarter, sometimes you're liable to overthink, you know? And so, you know, is some of the reasons. And I know I believe I've been there. The fighters get mad when you say some of these things. We got to make talking points here, guys.
Yeah.
So, Mike, if you get mad, because I know there was a couple of guys you was mad at today, we have to build talking points here. Yeah. And these are all talking points based on the careers of these two guys and what we've seen. Then we've got to throw out the talking points. They've got to be debated. And people have to come up with the ideas in their mind. If you don't make talking points, people don't get interested in the fight. So these are all talking points that must be dictated because this is what we've seen from these two guys in their careers.
Were there times in your career you wished you were that guy who wasn't so smart, who didn't know what was going on, who hadn't been impacted by your career and could just keep going like
early on, I was that guy. Everybody's that guy early on. Early on, everybody's that guy, you know, and you just have this self-belief, you know. I walk into the boxing gym, I'm going to learn to box, and my mom thought I was crazy, and my grandma thought I was crazy. My grandfather started me, and I was like, I'm going to be a world champion. I didn't have one amateur fight. I was like, I'm going to be a world champion. You know, it's that bliss, you know, it's that ignorance. And then the ferocity that comes with it, because, you know, nothing offsets you. You know, you take shots. Oh, yeah, I can take that. And then you learn. You learn, and you learn, and you learn. And then you hit reality. For me, reality was the Miguel Cotto fight. You're like, oh. This is boxing. I thought I was boxing for the last 10 years. I wasn't. This is boxing. You know? And then it's a different level. And you learn, okay, I belong here and I want. And at a certain point, there comes that point where you go through so much and you're like, oh, do I still have it in me? You know, you're like, I've loved this. I've lived for this. Because my body still have it in me, you know? And it's like, once you mentally check out, you're not there anymore. You're not liable to get through those moments. You cannot mentally check out. Now, with Zerafa, that's the question. Only he knows. We can talk about it. We can say, we can observe. We're not psychologists, but we can say, I think he's checked out. Why is he not saying that? Why is he saying that? With Nikita, again, it's that bliss. That's all we can take. From Zerafa, because he's got the experience, we can take more out of his game, out of his what he's saying, out of what he's not saying, and out of his body language. So, you know, we make the conclusions.
Ben, my dad, I was a young kid. He trained somebody one time, and he's mad, and he said, "I'm not training." I said, "What?" He said, "My dad says he's too smart to box." I'm like, "You're supposed to be." He said, "No, he overanalyzes everything. He thinks too much, and he's not reactive enough. I can't train him because he's too smart to box." And as a Michael Zerafa, with the kind of experience that he has, the age that he's at, the things that he's been through at this point, could be too smart, could be overanalyzing things, and it could catch up with him.
Chuck, is it fair to say that when you went to Germany and fought an undefeated world champion in Sven Otke, so early in your career, you were just going there thinking you were invincible? Obviously, it proved you weren't, but listen, gee, you looked good for a while.
Let's give the boys a bit of perspective from where I come from. This
might be a while.
Like a rugby background, like rugby league, yeah. It's like a big sport down here. It's like, say, NFL over there, but not as big, but I was one of the best players in the world. Retired, came to boxing, when I was 24, turning 25. When I turned 25, and I just was on a mission, like you said, you know, mindset. My dad was a fighter too. He fought Carlos Monza back in the day, but then I come in 10 fights in. I was knocking everyone out, and my 11th fight I got ranked in the top 15 in WBA. IBF or WBA, and they called me to fight Sven Otke. He had two Olympic games, 300 amateur fights. He had 22 fights, 12 title defenses.
And every time he fought, the ring was a mile long.
Yeah,
right? And he was running all over the place.
Right. And they said, you want to fight him? For me to fight? I said, yeah, I'll fight him. But my confidence and cockiness was so high, I was like, this is my time, man. I'm going to shock the world. Because I told the footy, like the whole media in Australia here, I said this is what I was going to do. And I went over to Germany, did that fight, and I got stopped in the 10th round. But I had no seasoning. It was only the seasoning. By round 6, 7, I was fighting on instinct. You know what I mean? Because I didn't have that boxing seasoning, and that maybe that might be against Nikita.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
But is Zerafa the level of Otke? Otke was a world champion at the time. We're talking about he was a bona fide world champion who made many defenses.
Yeah.
You know,
retired undefeated.
To me, that's Michael Zerafa's number one job on Fight Night, is to make Nikita think, make Nikita hesitate, and get those rounds in the bank. Once he gets to rounds 8, 9, 10, that's when he's actually going to start becoming a human. He's going to start thinking.
Well, that's what we were saying in the last segment, right? Mike's got 2 jobs to start this fight. He's got to make sure the fight gets to about round 8, and he's got to make sure the fight's hanging in the balance at about round 8. If the fight's hanging in the balance and he gets to round 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 could be rocky for Nikita because now Michael has built up confidence and Michael's still in the fight.
Right.
And that's Michael's territory.
Right.
It's not Nikita's territory.
It's a territory that he's never been in.
But you got to get there.
Yeah.
And getting there again.
You got to get there comfortably.
Yes, sir. Comfortably with the fight still hanging in the balance
force,
against this brute.
Yeah.
That's why we're having this conversation, guys.
That's why we're having the conversation. We have set the scene. I can't wait for these fights on Friday night now. Now, we're going to get a selection from each of you. I don't want to hear 50-50. I just want to hear one word. Who do you think is going to win this fight? You've got to choose one of them. Shawn, I'll start with you.
Don't start with me. I don't know.
Jock?
Oh, man. Dang.
I'll go first. That way, Tszyu by KO.
Jock?
I'll say Michael decision.
I'm going with Michael decision.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, the stage is set. Thank you all for joining us, Liam Paro as well. Paulie Malignaggi, Shawn Porter, and the man.
We'll get
it after. We'll send it through to you guys later on. But that is the scene. It is set. It's a huge night of boxing coming up. Friday night, you'll see it all on Main Event Television. I'm Ben Damon, and I'll see you at the fights.